in the UK, they didn't pay maternity pay, and I was a single parent. So I could only work up to about 8 months, and then I started to feel very uncomfortable because I was working in a salt factory lifting boxes of salt. It was like Saxon salt. If you're from the UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like 12 salt tubes in a box, taped up, put on a conveyor belt, and then off it goes. So when you're pregnant and heavily pregnant, it becomes difficult, and people started to take the boxes and do it for me. But they back then they didn't think, oh, Christine can't really do that, so let me see if I can find something else for her to do. So no one said anything, so I felt guilty, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave because it's just wrong. I feel like everyone keeps jumping in. So I then didn't have money come in, so then I couldn't pay my rent, and then I was evicted with a 6-week-old baby. But that's where my journey began. And today I've been doing coaching for, fast forward, I've been doing coaching for 13, I started in 2013, for example, so just about 11 years. And when I started my coaching business, because I didn't want other providers to go through what I went through, and I'll explain it briefly. I had large contracts with a very large government organization, for example, multiple contracts, and they were for 5 years. And what happened there is that they turned around because of the inflation, and I understand it's the public money, we've got to mind the public money, of course. They turned around and said, we're going to have to cut the price down to this. Half. It was literally like half. And I had staff members who were on permanent, and I had to turn around to them and say, I can't pay you that rate anymore. You're going to have less. And you know, they weren't accepting it, understandable. So I decided to not continue with the business. I handed back the contracts to the government because I couldn't run a business on that rate. And it was during the recession as well. But there's lots more that I could tell you, but I'm not going to go into that. But I wanted to give you a bit of an idea of where I've come from. And the reason why this page is called 7-Figure Leaders is because I want you to become a 7-figure business. That's the reason why it is. It's not to say that everyone is at 7 figures. Some are at 5, some are at 6, and some are at 7. And I want to help everybody, just like how I was going through difficulty. I want to be there and help support. But I also want people to put the work in, just like how I did. And I'll give you a story, and I'm not going to not mention it. I paid a consultant, well, not a consultant, I paid a firm to come and get and sort out my business for me, to get me contracts, for example. And I paid, back then I paid £5,000, and he came, for example, and talking to me, and he was showing me and saying, yes, we're going to do this and that and the other. And this was back then it was the Recruitment Employment Confederation, and they're a very big firm now today, for example, very big firm, but they didn't specialize in healthcare back then, and that was in 2001, I would say. And what happened was that I had to literally learn and apply for these contracts by myself, for example. And I managed to get all of these contracts, which I'm super grateful to them, because I wouldn't be here today. So I have to say thank you for giving me that challenge, for me to overcome that challenge, because at the end of the day, it is my business, and I needed to overcome that challenge, that weakness that was stopping me. And I thought to myself, I've been through what I've been through in my life. I can certainly do this with ease, for example. So I wanted to share that story with you for those of you that don't know me. And secondly, when I started my business as a coach, I went onto YouTube and I was marketing my business on YouTube for free. I was getting appointments, about 10 appointments a week. And that was when I first started. And it was to the point where there was a waiting list where people would say, look, I'll wait for you. Because I used to say, I can't take anyone on. I've got enough. I can't take anyone on. So they would say, Christine, I will wait for you. Let me know when you're ready, and then call me and I'll be ready too. So the reason why I'm telling you this is that you can promote your healthcare agency on YouTube for free. It is a game changer. It's a no-brainer. The light bulb went off in my head about this, because I've been doing these videos daily, for example, and I was on YouTube, like I said, 10 years ago, 2013, I was on YouTube, and I was just using it for my business. I didn't even realize you could even get monetized. So I was just doing it for my business. And then when I got to 500, they were like, oh, you're at 500, congratulations. I saw a little bit about monetization, but I didn't click. I had a business to run, so I wasn't thinking. So I thought, let me just get on and do videos when I need to. And I would say that I was doing videos only when I needed to, not consistently. And that really was a bit of a missed opportunity as well, for example. So anyway, 2 years ago, fast forward 2 years ago, I then got this email from YouTube saying, you can become monetized when you're at this level. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. 2 years ago, I'm going to give it a go. But it wasn't until this year, because, life happened and I had a bereavement, lost my twin brother in 2023, for example. So I was kind of a bit lost, for example. But it wasn't until this year, round about August, when I came back, I was like, right, I'm going to get monetized. So then I did all the paperwork that I needed to do, and I became monetized. And the first month I got a check for £100, for example. That was in November. Then December, when I say a check, they paid it into my bank account. I'm old school, so do forgive me sometimes. I will say things like check, meaning money, for example, but they paid into my bank. And then, December, I got another payment of £100 in my bank. And they send you an email as well. And I was like, oh, this does work. So then you see me here, I'm actually on a mission, because I want to show you that you can do it. And I also want to show my clients that this can be done, because I know it can be done, because I was doing it in 2013, but for my own business. And then I would do it for like 6 weeks and then stop, because I'd got enough clients, for example. But if you do this consistently as a home care agency, and back then when I had my home care agency, I would do blogs. WordPress, you all know WordPress, websites. I would do blogs, for example, and I would type up, say 400 1,000 words, for example, about the services that I provide, etc., as an agency, for example, you can do the same with YouTube. And you've got so much opportunity here that it would be a complete waste of your business for you not to use this platform, YouTube, to promote your business, for example. Now imagine you could do videos daily, or even just once a week is enough. People are doing well doing once a week, and they're monetized, and they're getting a check. Well, they're getting it paid into their bank. For example, on the 21st of each month, you get paid. And then you've also got your business as well that you're getting appointments for example. So basically, YouTube can be used to pay your bills. It can be used to pay your bills at home, or your bills for your business, for example. You could do, a YouTube page for your personal, YouTube page for your business, for example.